begin our regular council session, I want to take a few minutes here just to honor one of Portland's truly great citizens. And this is something all of us here at the dais agreed that we wanted to do. We want to take a few moments to honor Willie Levenson. He is the founder, and I would say the ringleader, of the Human Access Project here in the city of Portland. Through his grassroots activism and his tireless work, Willie has truly changed Portlanders' relationship with the Willamette River. I believe more so than any other resident of the city of Portland. His unwavering spirit and his dedication to ensuring the Willamette is an accessible recreational gem has been nothing short of remarkable. Beginning in 2016, I had the honor of participating in the annual mayoral swim, an event sponsored by the Human Access Project to promote safe swimming in the river. This and many other events, including the Big Float, have been instrumental in changing our perceptions of the Willamette and bringing many thousands upon thousands of people onto the river. Furthermore, Willie has dedicated countless hours to organizing and participating in important and successful cleanup events, removing dangerous debris from the riverfront so that Portlanders can enjoy safe accessibility to the Willamette River. I can truly say that he represents the very best of Portland. In a few moments, I'll read a formal recognition, but now I'd like to welcome Willie to come up to the rostrum to say a few words. And we don't mean to embarrass you, but you know what? Actually, we sort of do. And Willie is joined today. Willie is joined today by several dozen residents of Portland and close proximity who represent the diversity of this community. And it's just one more example, Willie, of how you bring us all together at a time when, frankly, we need to come together. So we so appreciate you. We also have Representative Rob Nose. Rob, thank you.
Mayor's handler insisted I come up.
Great, thank you for being here, and you have your formal awards.
Yep.
Willie, take the mic and just riff for a minute or two.
Thank you. Well, first, I'd like to present all the councilors with a half bandana and sticker. Security, can I?
I'll get it.
All right.
Yeah, be careful with that. Be careful.
Yeah.
So I've had the pleasure of swimming in the Willamette with the majority of city council, which is kind of unique. But I'm just really honored to be here. I have some prepared bullet points. And maybe
You got to sit down, Willie. You got to use the microphone. You got to sit down.
I can project. I just want to be able to see council and everybody else. Everybody hear me?
Yes.
So, Ted, number one, it's particularly special to be honored by Ted. I mean, Ted came in, he said he was going to change the form of government, which has been tried several times before. He said he was going to be a two-term mayor. Ted guided our city through, I heard news reports about how Russia's trying to destabilize our government by putting out bad information. I feel like Ted guided us through basically a destabilized situation. We had half the city who felt red hot about certain issues, half the city that felt red hot about other issues. It is extremely difficult to navigate through that, particularly with this form of government we have, because Ted is a figurehead and it's only responsible for so much.
Shh, don't tell them that. It's a secret.
But still,
Yeah, it is.
got through it with good humor, resilience. I hope you write a book. I mean, I have a lot that I can learn from you. It's just amazing, because just in my little piece of what we do at Human Access Project, I'm on TV every now and then and whatever. Every day it's like there's somebody just criticizing about what isn't being done. So I'm just so impressed with your ability to lead. And Portland, you guided Portland through the hardest period. So I'd like to acknowledge Ted. Please. And beyond that, Ted, for a period of time, was in an optical jail. I mean, wouldn't it have been great to go to Hawaii for a week in the midst of all of that crazy stuff that was going on? I just greatly appreciate your tour of duty that you gave to Portland.
Thank you.
It was an incredible sacrifice, and you are so committed to our city. So, first met Ted, he was standing in front of the Hollywood Library campaigning, literally standing all by himself. I just waiting for random interactions with people. It was kind of untraditional. So I went up to Ted, and at that point, I literally had no traction in City Hall. For anybody who's like, I'm basically a citizen activist that started an organization, it is dirty work to get a seat at the table. It is not easy. So I went up to Ted and introduced myself, said, I have this organization, Human Access Project. Ted was like, yeah, I've heard of you guys. I was just thinking, well, that's charming. That's a nice thing for a politician to say standing in front of Hollywood. But sure enough, swam his ballot across the river for his first term. At a time when, you know, Ted was pretty much locked in. At that time, I think a lot of people in Portland would say, well, I was going to vote for this guy, but he's fucking nuts. Swimming in the river. But he took that opportunity to elevate our organization and bring attention to what we were doing. From there, Ted mentioned we did 4 mayoral swims. And credit to Tommy, my main collaborator with Human Access Project, River Hucker Swim Team, Point Revolution, etc. I tell Tommy that Ted's into doing a mayoral swim. They said, well, we gotta have a name. What's the name? He said, how about first annual mayoral swim? I said, I don't know who's gonna go for it. He says, we're in, first annual. So we have 4. Hopefully we'll have 1 more. Hopefully Ted can join us for 1 more, and I hope all of City Council can help. I kind of feel like this is the beginning of the Ted farewell tour. And I'm so honored to be able to be a part of acknowledging Ted. So, 5th mayoral swim. Bobby Lee, you know, again, working for a seat at the table. Bobby was the first person at the time who saw value in what we were doing. He got his regional Portland Solutions team together, felt like what I was doing was good. I gave the meeting, I felt like it was pretty much the glass over died, nobody got it, but Bobby stuck with me, and there's been nobody who enjoys the big float more. Todd Lofgren, he was working in Mayor Fish's office at the time. I kind of went through my rundown. I mean, I had a really difficult time working with parks for probably my first 7 years of work. Everything was an uphill battle. We were able to get stuff done, but it wasn't a lot of cooperation, and the work was hard. I sat down with Todd, he met for about an hour, and listening very intently, he just said, I'm very sorry. I mean, I really felt hurt, and that really meant a lot to me, and it just shows the power of just acknowledging somebody by simply saying, I'm sorry. And from there, of course, he moved on to be the director of parks, and once Adina got into office, everything changed. You know, Adina, I took a chance and offered some constructive criticism when she first got into her role. I said, you know, it appears the policy of parks is pretending swimming isn't occurring. It's a thin line between negligence and irresponsibility. Portland has a moral responsibility to direct people to the least risky places to get into the river and engineer them to be safe. And Adina, very coolly, just responded, it's not our policy, it's our practice. And again, we continue to move forward. Mingus in 2021 came out, we were celebrating Slavic Empowerment Team at the Duckworth Dock. Mingus brought the entire staff out, took a dip at Duckworth Dock to celebrate adding ladders to the Duckworth Dock. It took 6 years of work to add 8 swim ladders there that took less than 4 hours to install. That is the grind of activism. And now we have a new public swimming spot. Human Access Project added ladders to 4 different docks now, managed by 4 different bureaus. That is our form of government. Each one was its own bureaucracy to tackle. The hardest approval was Duckworth because Peabot, those poor people, Grum remembers this, and Grum worked in Salzman's office. We've got a ladder on the firehouse dock. And then I got a call when he moved to Peabot and said, hey, Willie, guess who the new manager of the Duckworth dock is? All of a sudden, so much of this stuff is waiting for things to align. But getting a Peabot bridge engineer to approve a ladder is almost cruel. They had a very hard time approving the ladder. Carmen, in 2022, we came out, swam at Poets Beach, and in partnership with Parks and Recreation, named 6 safer swimming areas. That, to me, was a reflection of 12 years of work that Parks is officially in the business of swimming. That was massive, and really appreciate your leadership on that. Then, working with Shannon Carney and Mingus, we got $300,000 of ARPA funds approved to create access to the river, and working with Partners at Park, Dylan Paul. There's no more committed Parks employee, in my opinion, than Dylan. We figured out that the best way to use those funds was to replace the Cathedral Park dock. And it's going to be done this summer, and it's going to have swim ladders. This past summer, Human Access Project, with partnership of a handful of North Portland organizations, removed removed 120 tons of concrete and riprap from the south side of that dock. 2 years before, we removed 40 tons of concrete and riprap. When that dock goes in, Cathedral Park is going to turn into a river recreation playground. That's going to happen next summer, and it's going to be the 100-year anniversary of when Portland shut down the Willamette for swimming because of pollution in the river. So, Dan, we haven't had a chance to work together on any direct initiative yet, but there is something that I have in mind. And Renee, we don't work together either, but really miss Chief Boone. And Waylon is incredible. We collaborate all the time. So, general shout outs, T-Bone, Tommy, Ostrander, really just my principal collaborators at HAP. And you guys have been here from the start, and it's pretty hilarious to see that we made it this far. It's been a lot of fun. But your friendship has just means so much to me. And, in terms of this moment, it feels like climbing up halfway up a mountain, looking back, being able to reflect on things that have been done, looking ahead at the peak ahead. It's really a false peak because there's no end to this. Pete Seeger said it well, we're all links in a chain. And, it's great to be able to contribute. So going ahead, the harmful cyanobacteria issue in Ross Island Lagoon, we're committed to fixing that. We've been working on it since 2017. We have great progress. We're now in a fundraising round of $300,000 to do 30% cost engineering to put a channel in. This is a solvable problem, and it's not an option not to solve it. It's a human health, ecological, quality of life, and social justice issue. It will happen. It will require some help. We're working on...
They got to get to a meeting.
Yes, we're working on plans on a world-class amphitheater in downtown Portland. We put together a team and got seed money from Travel Oregon. That's going to be something we're talking about. And I'm saving everything. I'll wrap it up. I just want to thank my wife, Lulu. Lulu's infectious. My best friend, lover. I mean, all the success, or however far we've gone with the Human Access Project, is a reflection of everybody in this room, and I'm so grateful for you guys taking the time to come out, but particularly Lulu. So yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank
Really
you.
grateful.
And Rod, and then we'll get to you, Mingus.
I'll be less loquacious. It says 6-8 inches away from the microphone. My name's Rob Nose, for the record. I'm the state representative just across the river, and I'm delighted to be here to celebrate Willie's work and the Human Access Project, and delighted to be able to work with all of you as the state figures out how to partner to preserve probably, I'm sure you all know, one of our best assets. There's a reason our city is located here on this river. There's a reason we tore down a massive highway in the 70s and built a park instead. And the things that we can do together, the state and the city and the county, to support the work that Willie and all of his fans and members of the Human Access Project have done, feels like a good thing to do. So I'm delighted to be here with him. I do not have painted toenails, but I recommend it highly for many people who haven't done it. Give it a try.
Thank you, Rob.
Okay.
Commissioner Maps.
Thank you very much. I just want to take a moment to thank Willie and the Human Access Project for their advocacy on behalf of our rivers. As I think most people in this room know, part of my portfolio includes the Bureau of Environmental Services. I would argue that Bureau is largely misunderstood in that our core mission, in addition to running your sewers and managing wastewater, is to keep the rivers that surround our city clean. And as I have entered this space over the past 3 years, I guess it has been, I will tell you, I have not met a stronger advocate or more visionary leader and leader in the space of protecting our rivers than Willie and the Human Access Project. And it really has changed the world. I've been in Portland for a long, long time. I remember what it was like to swim in the Willamette River in the 70s and the 80s. It was not necessarily something that you wanted to do. I want every Portlander to know that, especially once the weather gets nice, the vast majority of the time, 99.99% of the days here in Portland, you can swim safely in the Willamette River. Willie's helped us build some infrastructure so it's easy to do that. I'll tell you, one of my favorite places in Portland is the Duckworth Dock, and Willie has transformed that into a swimming oasis. So I urge all Portlanders to try to get out to a human access swimming project sometime over the next year.
Thank you, Commissioner. And now it's my honor on behalf of the City Council to read the formal recognition. Whereas Willie Levenson has been the major force behind revitalizing and promoting Portland's urban beaches along the Willamette River, ensuring Portlanders have safe public access to swimming in their city's river. And whereas in 2010, Willie Levenson founded the volunteer-driven grassroots advocacy group Human Access Project with the stated mission of transforming Portland's relationship with the Willamette River. And whereas, as founder and ringleader of the Human Access Project, Willie has led the group in holding many prominent events to connect Portlanders with their river, including the Big Float, an event that ran from 2011 to 2022 and brought over 25,000 people out on the river, many for the first time. And whereas Willie and the Human Access Project have sponsored additional events like the Mayoral Swim, the Valentine's Dip, River Hugger Swim Team practices, and countless cleanup events to remove concrete, glass, rocks, and other debris from beaches along the Willamette River. And whereas through Human Access Project, Willie worked with Portland Parks and Recreation to establish Portland's first official beach, Poets Beach, along the west side of the Willamette under the Markham Bridge. And whereas his advocacy with Portland Parks and Recreation has ultimately led to the designation of 6 safe swimming sites along the Willamette, including Poets Beach, Audrey McCall Beach, Tom McCall Bowl Beach, Selwood Riverfront Park, Cathedral Park, and the Kevin Duckworth Dock. And whereas, because of Willie's tireless efforts, Portlanders and visitors again embraced the Willamette as a world-class recreational amenity for the swimming, kayaking, and other communities. And whereas, Willie continues to be a prime example of a Portlander who makes the community a better place through their advocacy and their volunteerism. And whereas today, Willie continues his work, most recently turning his attention and efforts towards the rise in toxic algae blooms at the Ross Island Lagoon to preserve the Willamette River's quality as safe for swimming. Now, therefore, I, Ted Wheeler, Mayor of the City of Portland, Oregon, the City of Roses, do hereby celebrate Willie Levenson's advocacy towards ensuring the Willamette River is a place for Portlanders of all stripes and ages to enjoy. Congratulations. And thank you.
If I could say one last thing, really quick. I forgot to
Briefly.
mention, it looks like the Big Float's going to come back next year.
Wow.
So, Human Access Project is partnering with Vive Northwest, a Latinx nonprofit.
Great.
That looks to bring Latinx community to the outdoors. Perfect fit from a cultural perspective, and now we're fundraising. We do have a minimum fundraising goal, so if anybody on City Council is interested in helping ensure that it happens next year, reach out.
That's
Thanks
awesome.
again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for being here. All right, good morning, everybody. This is the November 15th, 2023 morning session of the Portland City Council. Good morning, Keelan. Please call the roll.
Good morning. Maps.
Here.
Rubio. Here. Ryan.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Wheeler.
Here. We'll hear from legal counsel on the rules of order and decorum. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the Portland City Council. To testify before council in person or virtually, you must sign up in advance on the council agenda at www.portland.gov/council/agenda. Information on engaging with City Council can be found on the council clerk's webpage. The presiding officer preserves order and decorum during City Council meetings. The presiding officer determines the length of testimony. Individuals generally have 3 minutes to testify unless otherwise stated. A timer will indicate when your time is done. Disruptive conduct such as shouting, refusing to conclude your testimony when your time is up, or interrupting others' testimony or council deliberations will not be allowed. If you cause a disruption, a warning will be given. Further disruption will result in ejection from the meeting. Anyone who fails to leave once ejected is subject to arrest for trespass. Additionally, council may take a short recess and reconvene virtually. Your testimony today should address the matter being considered. When testifying, state your name for the record. Your address is not necessary. Disclose if you are a lobbyist, and if you are representing an organization, please identify it. For testifiers joining virtually, please unmute yourself once the council clerk calls your name. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we get started, I want to share a quick update. Today, the Portland City Council will host its last meetings at City Hall for a while in preparation for voter-approved changes to Portland's elections and form of government. Upgrades will begin this fall to make room for all 12 councilors and increase expanded seating for people who wish to testify. The goal is to have council chambers ready by January 1st, 2025 as part of the voter-approved transition. Starting with the November 29th council meeting, members of the council will participate virtually in council meetings and work sessions. Members of the public may choose to participate virtually or in person. The Lizzie Weeks Room, room 100 in the Portland building over there, will be available for community members to watch the meeting as well as to provide public testimony during this time. Then in January, council will begin meeting at an alternative site about half a mile south near Portland State University at the city's Development Services Building, which is 1900 Southwest 4th Avenue, room 2500. Thank you. First up is communications, item 949. The first individual, please.
Request of Nancy Lane to address council regarding the state of the city and airport. Nancy's joining us online.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Nancy Lane, and I'm from Globe Travel in North Bend, Oregon. Globe Travel operates a brick-and-mortar travel agency on the southern Oregon coast. We have been a member of the Bay Area's business community since 1978. Although I am a Coos Bay native, I personally was a resident of the Portland metro area from 1982 to 2009. Globe Travel has many business professional clients, and their families have been patrons for decades. When our influential worldwide traveling patrons begin to bend our ear with complaints about their travel experiences, you can be sure that we are paying full attention to their concerns. While we are in Coos Bay North Bend area and are justifiably proud of our new terminal and airport facilities with service to San Francisco and summer service direct to Denver, it is by nature of the business more expensive to fly out a small regional airport to make connections. And even more limiting, the factor is that our airport flies a once midday daily service, making connections next to impossible. Therefore, many of our patrons drive to Portland to make the best connections. And while there for years, they have been in the habit of frequenting Portland restaurants, hotels, Symphony, and excellent shopping opportunities that exist in the Portland metro area. Our travel agency has been inundated with complaints about the dangerous, filthy conditions they are encountering when visiting Portland, downtown, and other areas trying to enjoy themselves while beginning their journeys. These complaints follow these general trends. 1, where our patrons' vehicles have been stolen or broken into while visiting Portland. 2, where our patrons are now scared to go downtown or other commercial areas because of homeless presence, defecating, trashing a beautiful city, and worse, accosting and being verbally and physically threatened to our patrons. 3, the incidence of carjacking is now a real concern to our patrons, and it is becoming more prevalent. Especially concerning because the drivers are encountering in Portland have become extremely aggressive. Is the car that cuts them off and slams on the brake a carjacking or just more road rage? 4th, the KGW8's report of Portland's homicidal rate by 207% from 2019 to 2021, when compared to the relative peer commission cities, Minneapolis, Atlanta, Denver, San Francisco, and Nashville. Just shameful to be number 1 in this category. Guns don't kill people, people kill people, plain and simple. What is happening to Portland? The overall level of deterioration of the city is due to the lawlessness, hamstrung enforcement. It's impacting the business in the Portland area that our patrons are frequenting these businesses, trying to get to help Portland to recover. We think that it is time for the official stakeholders in government, business, and civic organizations stop talking around the problems and look for ways to take care of the situation. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Nancy, thank you. And I want to give you a little bit of hope here. And I'm not brushing aside any of the criticism or any of the challenges that your clients have indicated. But I do want you to know that despite what you hear and despite what you read, this council has taken action after action after action to address these issues. More police officers, more patrols, $6.5 million going into private security around the hotel district, outreach workers, support for business, increased litter and graffiti abatement through the newly created Portland Environmental Management Office. We're really aware of what's going on in the hotel district, and we agree with you that the key to this city's successful recovery is making sure that we address these issues and that we continue to be a desirable place for the hospitality and hotel industry to operate. So I just want you to know that I'm not making any excuses here. I hear what you're saying. We are actively realigning our government, creating new programs, pursuing brand new strategies to focus on these issues with a sense of urgency. And I really hope you'll stay in tune and watch what we're doing. We're already seeing the tide turn in key areas of criminal activity, and I expect that momentum to continue. But I do appreciate you being here and sharing directly what your clients are telling you so that we can hear it firsthand. So thank you, Nancy, for being here today.
Thank you.
Commissioner
I appreciate
Max.
your time.
Thank you. Nancy, if you, before you go, I just want to take a moment to thank you for your testimony today. And although I know my colleagues know this, I also want to take a moment to underscore the fact that what Nancy is warning us about is true. As we exit the pandemic era, many parts of our economy are emerging and recovering. One of the sad truths of this particular moment is that is not true for the tourism and hospitality industry. This is a space which I follow closely. Up until very recently, I was this council's liaison to the tourism and hospitality industry. What we see is that our recovery there has flatlined and in many spaces actually kind of started to go down a little bit. Tourism, hospitality are a critical component of our region's economy. And frankly, I think at this point, it's very clear that that part of our economy is not going to recover until we do a better job of addressing the public safety and livability and frankly reputational issues that Portland is struggling with. And I also want to say I agree very much with the mayor. Everyone on this council is deeply committed to engaging with these problems, but we clearly have much more work to do.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Nancy. We appreciate you and hope you'll come back again in the future. Thank you. Next individual.
I have
item
relatives that live there.
Thank you, Nancy. 950, please, next individual.
Request of Claire Coleman Evans to address council regarding construction notifications in neighborhoods. Claire is online.
Hi, Claire.
Hi, sorry, I am at the emergency vet with my dog, so what I had planned is not going to be the same, but I just wanted to let you know that what has happened as far as emergency construction and anything that with giving notice to neighborhoods is now being dismantled and it will not happen. The problem that we're having here is that the city keeps not notifying the neighborhoods about anything that's happening, or they do notify us and they basically dot their I's, cross their T's, and let us know that it's happening. We're not allowed to make participation. We're not allowed to participate, meaning that when we do have an objection, our objection is not heard. The Sears Armory, Ryan knew that there was objections and he refused to put them into the record and let anyone speak that day. Also, what happened to Southwest Sweeney during the whole pandemic was absolutely apparent. To let the neighborhood association lose its district coalition during the time of a pandemic, and none of you helped us. We were on our own. I literally have clients that I take care of, and I had to do paperwork that had to do with stuff that Sweeney would have been able to do. We had to develop ourselves into a nonprofit organization. I'm here with my dog that's dying, and I take time to meet you guys and talk with you, and you guys do not do the same for us. If we're going to be going forward into the new year, into the new government, you guys need to listen to the people that have elected you and give us time to speak, because it is not fair. It doesn't do anybody any good. You leave us, we have to deal with the problems. And as far as transportation is concerned, we had a major transportation closure of a major street in Bridlemount. I'm speaking on behalf of myself. in Bradamouth. We got no notice whatsoever. I finally was able to contact someone that was in charge, and then they let us know. It was so dangerous that you guys don't care what you do. You just make it dangerous for people. And that's all I have to say because I have to go back to the vet. But I really appreciate it if you guys would at least give the public a chance. And when they do object, listen to us and present it. And Ryan, there's no excuse for you not presenting what was going on at the Sears Armory. And what you did was highly unethical and was politicking, and it's not okay. Thank you for your time.
Claire, thank you, and wish you best of luck with your dog. Thank you for being here
Thank
today.
you.
We appreciate it.
Bye.
Thank you. Next individual, please, item number 951.
Request of Keith Cooney to address council regarding resurfacing Gabriel Park tennis courts for pickleball.
Maybe just old. Good morning.
Good morning. This is the second time I've been here. I'm Keith Cooney, resident of Southwest Portland, 3840 Canby Street, right by Gabriel Park. This is the second time I've come here because we've kind of run into a dead end. I had asked last time to work with a staff member to talk about, resurfacing Gabriel Park, and it's just kind of run into nowhere. We originally presented on May 3rd. We met with Commissioner Ryan's chief of staff, with Joey Ferruto and Brett Horner, and to talk about converting two tennis courts. The lower courts are completely dilapidated. There's almost nobody that plays on them. The only people that do play on them are pickleball players, kind of trying to make do with what they have there. We received assurances that the project was feasible, that we could have dual-use courts, that they would only be lined for pickleball, but they could be used for tennis, so we wouldn't actually be taking any tennis courts offline. We would just be adding the ability for pickleball players. In July, our secretary, who's here today, spoke in person with Don, I don't want to say it wrong, but Jugan from the Parks Maintenance, and Don advised Rick that after Selwood's completed, that pickleball lines would be put in at Gabriel Park. At some point, communication stopped. That project was never seen through. We stopped getting email updates from Joey, Brett, and Don altogether, and we've left voicemails. And later in September, we got 2 random emails from Mark Ross, the public information officer, stating that there's 8 courts there. That's not true. There was a response after that saying there's 4 courts there. That isn't true. There just seems to be a lot of misinformation from Parks and Rec staff altogether. There are 2 courts there that are tennis courts that you can play pickleball on, even though it's not regulation. The net size is off. You can barely see the lines because, again, it's so worn. In Portland Metro, we have a website that we sign on, and you can play pickup games all over the city. And there's 9,000 active users in that. And so we're an active, connected community. And there's, obviously it's the fastest growing sport. Everybody kind of knows that. You've seen news articles on it. And there's more active pickleball players than tennis players. So when we go in the city staff, we hear, well, tennis has to prove this. I think that's unfair that tennis staff would be picking and choosing where pickleball courts would go. So we would like to see the city, pick up with this and work with us and establish 6 permanent courts at Gabriel Park. So because there is this active community, and we have nowhere to go right now. We have to go to Tiger, to Tualatin, outside the city, and pay at indoor places. So we would like free access, at a park, just like all the other sports.
Thank you. I think Commissioner Ryan wanted to respond.
Yeah, thank you, Keith. Thanks for being here. And I'm following up with you in person at a meeting after the time you met with my chief of staff. And we also have a couple of people from Parks here when I saw that you were on the agenda, so we could keep moving this forward. They did give me some points that I wanted to read for the public record. The professional repair and maintenance services group that will be performing the work has many priorities. I'm sure you've heard that, including often emergency or scheduled annual maintenance work, such as for all community centers. All projects are viewed with an equity lens, and overlay requests for pickleball would have scored very low when it comes to that. Parks and Rec staff still completed some due diligence on this request, and the location of the pickleball courts is 400 feet, which is key, from any residence. So we do not anticipate any noise-related issues like we deal with in some of the locations that we're looking at. Staff has met with the internal recreation tennis program managers who are okay with striping the Gabriel Park courts both for tennis and for pickleball. Park staff have this project on the work plan for 2024 to paint pickleball on 2 of the southeast courts at Gabriel Park. I'm sure you'd like to have more of a dialogue on this, and I'm delighted to say that both Dylan, Paul, and Joey are back there. Will you raise your hand? Keith, see them?
Yep.
You all talk amongst yourselves. That'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Next individual, please, 952.
Request of Robert Butler to address council regarding city policy. Robert Butler. I don't think they're here.
He's not here today. 953, please.
Request of Christian Mogster to address council regarding city concerns. Christian Mogster. I don't think they're here.
Very good. Have any items been pulled off consent?
No items.
Call the roll on the consent.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Wheeler.
All right, consent's adopted. Colleagues, because 2 of us will have to leave in a few minutes, I'm going to move the agenda around just a little bit to make sure we get to the emergency items. 962, please.
Authorize Bureau of Transportation to acquire certain temporary rights necessary for construction of the Southwest 45th Drive landslide abatement project through exercise of the city's eminent domain authority.
Commissioner Maps.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, this item comes to us from PBOT. This ordinance authorizes PBOT to acquire certain temporary rights necessary for the construction of the Southwest 45th Drive landslide abatement project. Here's some background on this project. In 2017, heavy rains and saturated soils caused a shallow landslide at Southwest 45th Avenue and Orchid Street. In order to stabilize that slope, new infrastructure needs to be built, which brings us to the project before us today. The Southwest 45th Drive landslide abatement project will construct a new retaining wall at this location. In order to build this wall, the city will need temporary access to the properties described in the ordinance before us today. All affected property owners have been contacted by phone or mail about the city's access needs and were invited to participate and attend the reading of this council item. Here to tell us more about this ordinance, we have Ashley McLay, a PBOT right-of-way agent.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Hi, Ashley.
Good morning, Mayor and Commissioners. My name for the record is Ashley McLay, PBOT right-of-way agent 3. And I'm joined by my colleague to discuss this landslide abatement project. And I'll hand it over to Juwan to give a little bit more about the project background. Next slide, please.
Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, Mayor. Just to give you a quick background, we are currently at a 95% design on this project. We are looking to move forward as soon as we get the funding for it, the full funding for it. We have completed projects just like this just last year on Southwest College Street and Southwest Upper Hall Street. Just this week, we've completed the landslide repair on Northwest Thurman Street. So this is a similar project, 110 feet long, 14 foot high structural retaining wall. We can go to the next slide. That's the detail. This is right behind the two properties located at 9104 and 9040 Southwest 49th Avenue. Again, 14 feet high, 110 feet long.
Next. So agenda item 962 gives PBOT authority to compensate the two property owners for the needed temporary easements. These temporary easements will be used for construction support. We've met with the property owners on site. We've also sent out mailings and had phone calls with them as well, and they were invited to this reading. So they're very well aware of this project and in favor of it. Next slide, please. And that concludes our presentation. We're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Mayor, I'm not sure if we have any public testimony on this one.
Do we?
No one signed up.
All right, any further discussion? This is an emergency ordinance. Please call the roll.
Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. The ordinance is adopted. 963, please.
Grant residential solid waste collection franchises in the city of Portland.
Commissioner Rubio.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm requesting that we adopt this technical amendment to true up the city's proposed franchise agreement with a recent franchise transfer from one of our garbage and recycling collection companies to a new service provider, which we previously approved in a separate decision. So on September 6th, we approved a transfer of collection franchise from Sunset Garbage to Recology, which the two companies executed on November 1st. We did not intend that our hearings on the franchise agreements would straddle the transfer date of that. But between the November 1st date, when Recology and Sunset executed the sale, along with a rescheduled franchise agreement hearing, it became necessary to offer this technical amendment. So this housekeeping amendment reflects our prior decision now that the transfer has occurred by replacing the two references to Sunset Garbage in the franchise agreement with references to Recology, the new franchisee. So there are no other changes in the proposed franchise agreement, which we advanced on October 11th. So now I'll hand it off to Quentin Bauer for further comments and to introduce our new franchisee.
But before we do that, I'll go ahead and second that. So Commissioner Rubio moves the amendment. I'll second it. And colleagues, just as a reminder, this was to be a second reading, but it's been amended. So we'll see after the presentation if there's public testimony on the amendment, and then we'll send it to second reading. Welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners and Mayor Wheeler. We appreciate your consideration of this technical amendment to the city renewal of its solid waste and recycling franchise agreement. This technical amendment will allow us to recognize the recent transfer of a franchise from Sunset to Recology of Clackamas. I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Quentin Bauer. I'm the Waste Operations Manager at the Bureau of Planning and Sustainability. And now I would like to turn it over to Dan Blue and Chris Carey from Ecology of Clackamas to say a few words.
Thank you. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Mayor, Commissioners, my name is Chris Carey. I'm the General Manager for Recology here in Oregon. We operate 14 different sites in Northern Oregon. That's collection companies. We have 4 of them. That includes our new collection company here in Portland and Clackamas, which we're very proud of and happy to be a part of. This will be our first foray into the city franchises here in Portland, so we're pretty excited about that. And just to give you some quick understanding of how we already operate in Portland, we have an open market collection company. We operate both Metro Central and Metro South for Metro. We have 3 compost facilities, 2 of which support the compost programs here in the city of Portland, one in North Plains, one in Almsville. You're welcome to take a tour anytime. We've just invested in some really great technology out in North Plains, so I open invitation for you. And then I'll turn it over to Dan.
Yeah, good morning, Mayor Wheeler, Commissioners. My name is Dan Blue. I'm the Government Relations Manager for Recology Northern Oregon, former Portland resident, now resident of Forest Grove. Just to follow up on what Chris has said, I want to share with you that Recology is the largest employee-owned materials management company in the nation and the only one in Oregon. And what that means for us is that no single employee owns more than 1% of our company. And so we employee owners each get a share of the business, and that keeps those funds local. We're very proud of that. Almost 60% of our employee owners represent women or people of color, and we're proud of that. And we're also focusing heavily on advancement, job training and development, and promotion opportunities. And so we're very pleased to be part of the Portland residential franchise and to continue to provide the excellent services that Sunset Garbage has provided for decades. So thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. Colleagues, any questions? Commissioner Mapps.
Sure. First, I want to thank our guest for participating in this program and addressing council today. I'm going to vote yes on the amendment and the final item here. I just want to be sure, though, that I'm understanding the flow of the legislation here. So we did first reading, and then after first reading, I think we discovered kind of a technical problem that we needed to clean up. So we're introducing an amendment today that'll clean up the problem that we noticed in the first reading, and then it'll come back for second reading next time we come together. Is that what's happening, roughly?
Yeah, you'll vote on the amendment today. It'll come back for a second reading on December 6th at 10:30 a.m. time certain.
All right, and I got the rough flow of what's happened with this particular legislation.
Yes, so when we first brought the franchise package to council, this transfer of ownership happened in straddled that. So we have to reflect that it has finished and that transfer has happened. We want it to all be updated.
Thank you for repeating that for me twice. I think I get it now. And thanks for coming in. We're glad to work with you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Do we have public testimony on this item?
No one signed up.
Please call the roll on the amendment.
Mapps.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. Amendment's adopted. This is a first reading of a non-emergency ordinance. It moves to second reading as amended. Next item, 954, time certain.
Authorize changes to the FY 2024-25 and FY 2025-26 current appropriation levels.
Colleagues, the current appropriation level, otherwise known as the CAL ordinance, is an important starting point for the budget process, as it sets the Bureau's base budget so that they can begin their planning. I want to emphasize that it is a starting point. Council will continue to debate the details of the budget, including issues related to organizational structure that are included in this ordinance. This ordinance is a step that allows us to provide clear guidance for the service areas on what will be included in their budgets. We heard in the budget work session on the city's fiscal state last week that having predictability is very important for our bureaus, particularly as we're entering a more constrained budget development year. With that, I'll turn it over to the Budget Office to give us a bit more detail about what's in the ordinance. Welcome, Director Grew and Deputy Director Levine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, Commissioners. Board Record, I'm Tim Grew, the City Budget Director. Every year, we adopt a CAL ordinance as part of the budget process, usually as part of the fall budget monitoring process. This year, the ordinance is a standalone because of the timing of the organizational structure resolution that we heard on November 1, which may have resulted in needed adjustments to the CALs. The CAL ordinance typically makes changes to ongoing appropriations for bureaus' budgets based on actions that the council has approved since the previous adopted budget. This year, the ordinance that is before you includes changes to CAL, to OMF, City Life, and the Auditor's Office, which involve realignments and do not result in a financial impact. However, and consistent with a budget note in this year's budget, the ordinance before you today also includes changes related to the implementation of the charter reform. In particular, it includes elements of the organizational structure that are required to be implemented on day one when we transition to the new form of government. This includes budgets for the mayor, council, and city administrator offices. Ruth will discuss more of the details of what is included in this ordinance. But before I pass it to her, I wanted to highlight what the mayor said about creating more certainty and predictability in the budget process. We have brought this ordinance and its actions to you now because this is the last opportunity that we will have to make changes to bureaus' base budgets before they get out to the bureaus and then get uploaded into the budget system. If we do not include these changes in these base budgets now via the CAL ordinance, it will be much more difficult and complicated to reflect these required costs for every bureau as part of the budget development process. By taking this action now, the bureaus will know the impact and can incorporate them into their budgets. I'll now turn this over to Ruth, who will provide the more details of the ordinance. Ruth?
Great. Good morning. Ruth Levine, the Assistant Budget Director. I'm going to share screen. So give me a quick second. Sorry. Okay, I'm just sharing the exhibit here. All right. So I'm just going to go through. Whoops. Is that okay? Sorry. Trying to get it a little bit bigger, but struggling. Okay, well, hopefully you have the exhibits before you. I'm going to go through the details of the exhibit. Just before I jump in, a couple of technical notes. There are, in some cases, different amounts in here for 2024-25 than 2025-26. This just reflects the fact that many of these changes will take effect on January 1, 2025, which is halfway through the fiscal year. But it varies a little bit depending on which item we're talking about, based on whether something will be in place starting July 1 or January 1. Another technical note, on there you'll see a line about commissioner offices and then council offices. That change in language is just because the way we currently do this, we have each of your offices listed as, Commissioner of Public Works, et cetera, et cetera. We are changing to have a single line for council offices, so that's just kind of a technical change. So I'm now going to go through each line that's in here and try to explain what's going on, and then we have time for questions after that. So the first item is the mayor's office. This is just a change in the net number of staff in the office for the new mayor. And this, sorry, one other note before I go through the individual items. All of these reflect the costs that we presented in the fiscal impact statement with one exception, which is the council offices, and I'll talk about that when I get to it. So the mayor's office reduces by 15 staff for the new mayor, and so this reflects that change. The second is the change that I mentioned about the commissioner offices, that's the technical change. The third bullet point is for the new council offices. Now, this is actually a net reduction of a total of $145,282 split over 2 years, since they will take effect January 1. This is different than what was in the fiscal impact statement that we presented with the November 1st ordinance. That's because this only reflects one staff for each of the new council members. That's just intended to be a starting point. This is that all of this is subject to change for council, but this reflects the sort of the smallest number for the starting point. Then going into the city administrator's office, the first bullet point refers to the amount for the new council operations function. That's the 4 district staff and then the 6 shared committee staff. The second bullet point is for the new city administrator and 1 administrative assistant. And then the third bullet point is for business operations to support the city administrator's office. And then the for the Office of Management and Finance, the Auditor's Office, and Civic Life, those all represent realignments, so there's no net change in the total funding there. It's just moving from one thing to another. So the first is a cleanup action from the fall bump where positions were moved from Civic Life to the Office of Management and Finance. Council approved that in the fall bump, but only a partial year amount was reflected, so this is just correcting that to be the full year amount. So that's the first bullet point. The second bullet point is moving the hearings office from OMF to the auditor's office. That's reflected on the organizational chart that you voted on November 1st. And then the other sections are just the other sides of those. So the auditor's office is just receiving that amount, and then Civic Life is just sending the amount that ends up in OMF. So that's all we've got. I think we have time for questions.
Very good. Colleagues, questions at this point?
I have a couple.
Commissioner Mapps.
Is this revenue neutral? Are we just moving money from one account to another, or does this imply that we're spending more dollars or fewer dollars?
Sure. So the fiscal impact statement for this ordinance is about $2.6 million is the net increase as a result of these changes.
Okay.
So this, and you can think of that sort of, the total net increase that we estimated as a result of the November 1st ordinance was $13 million.
Yeah.
This is a piece of that $13 million. Does that make sense? So we're talking about $2.6 million of the $13 million net increase that if you decided on all of the things that we estimated at that time. Obviously, and again, this is just a starting point,
yeah.
So this can change too, but we're only addressing a kind of a portion of that larger total.
That's mainly business operations, correct?
No, the net increase is mainly from the council operations piece, the city administrator's office, and business operations for the city administrator.
Okay. I think I follow, but I confess probably after today's session, well, it would be a quick briefing or a memo might be helpful. So I'm still trying to track the money and a little fuzzy still. Okay, so we got 2.6 million in new expenses. Where do those get charged to? Who pays for that? Or, yeah.
That'll be allocated to the bureaus.
Okay. Do we know, for example, in Public Works, do we know how much VES Water or PBOT? Let's start with PBOT is a good place to start because I'm $32 million in the hole over there.
Yeah, once we run the overhead models, we'll be able to give you very detailed amounts.
Okay.
And that'll come before you, so.
Sorry. As we presented in the work session on the 31st, there's rough percentages for each dollar added to overhead, which these expenses would be added to overhead.
Okay.
For each dollar added to overhead, 43% is general fund, about 13% is PBOT, 9% is, water, BES. Sorry, hold on a second. Sorry, 13% is PBOT, 13% is BES, 9% is water. So that's the rough estimates. We'll have the exact dollar figures after we run it through the overhead model.
Okay, so I think this is very helpful. One of the things we're trying to do in the bureaus is to get a sense of where we're heading and what our overhead is likely to be. So we got $2.6 million in new expenses. Those will be charged out to the bureaus. Right now, it's your understanding that about 13% of that 2.6 million will be charged to PBOT, about 13% will be charged to BES, and about 9% to water. Okay, great. So my people who are listening, write down those numbers and we can update our spreadsheets on this. One last question before I let my colleagues jump in here. You know, I understand why we would want to cut, let's take the transfer of dollars or the reduction in dollars for council offices. If we're doing a budget for a year, but we're only going to be around for about 6 months of that, at least under the current form of government. But we're also going to have a lot of transition on December 31st. You know, I assume there might be vacation payouts or whatever we want. Can you give us any advice on how to manage those costs? And maybe I don't understand my own office budget, but do you understand my question?
The closeout of your offices and the dollars that go with it in terms of vacation payout and that sort of thing, that most likely will come out of our compensation set aside when that time comes. We have set asides to deal with that.
Okay, thank you. I'll lower my hand now.
Commissioner Gonzalez. So looking at breaking this down into pieces, clearly the latter part, revenue neutral, right? The realignment of positions all makes sense. Where I'm wrestling a little bit, and frankly, this was on consent, is that I think we spoke pretty clearly as a council about concerns about the proposed transition cost and the 13 million ongoing. And I don't know that we could have been any clearer. And I don't mean to speak on behalf of my colleagues, but there was collective concern about 13 million new and ongoing. And to so quickly have this come back for a portion of that, I'm just trying to reconcile those two. I realize you need guidance and you need guidance to provide to bureaus, but I'm having a hard time right out of the gate telling bureaus that you're going to have to absorb this bureaucracy that we haven't yet signed off on from at a high level. So just, you know, I'm not necessarily previewing the way I'm going to vote on this thing, but I'm just trying to reconcile the last couple of weeks here.
What we wanted to present to you today was what we believe is the true cost, including operations and support for the new council members, the new mayor's office, the city administrator. And what comes with that is funding for positions that are supporting them. And so we didn't want to just come to part of this with the office expenditures. We wanted to come now with the full expense so that when we send these out to the bureaus, they have those numbers and they can incorporate it into their budget and adjust it. Everything else that was on the list in the resolution of the charter thing, all the other positions, those will come forward to you for consideration as we go through the budget process.
Got it. I think we have some work to do over the next week. I mean, just put it that way. There's serious trepidation on the level of the bureaucracy that was proposed. So just reiterating that concern.
I understand.
And particularly in a brutal budget cycle, particularly with, PBOT, BDS, and some of our public safety bureaus facing what they're facing. And but I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Commissioner Mapps.
To kind of clarify our thinking in this space, can you give us an estimate of how much of that 2.6 will be charged to the Fire Bureau?
Well, 43% goes to the general fund, but that there are not particular amounts sent out to bureaus as a result of that. It just flows into the mayor's budget guidance, if that makes sense. So it depends how the mayor chooses to structure the guidance.
Okay, so at this point, we can't say what the increased cost of fire are as a product of the ordinance before us?
Just that the general fund would bear 43% of the costs. Okay. Roughly. So that exact amount will change once once our economist runs the overhead model, and just a reminder that the pieces that are included in this ordinance are just the council offices with the one staffer, the mayor, the city administrator themselves, and then just the business operations to support to stand that up. that there's still opportunity to find cost reductions, and the mayor can direct the city administrator's office to find cost reductions to offset this. That's sort of the part of the starting position, right? It's just trying to get the certainty in place for the starting point, if that makes sense.
Mayor, man. Well, and I appreciate Commissioner Mapps' question. My view here is actually attempting not to be parochial and not to just view it from the impact on a particular bureau. In the aggregate, we're talking 13 million in ongoing new overhead spend that will be a burden on our budgets going forward, in addition to substantial, uptime cost, upfront cost on this that far exceeds what voters were told when they approved charter reform. And so I appreciate Commissioner Mapps' line of thinking. I continue to feel that we're being pulled in a direction that is inconsistent with the stated, priorities of the majority of council recently, and far in excess of what voters were told when they approved this line. But I'll leave it at that for now.
Do we have public testimony?
We have one person signed up.
All right, let's hear it.
Fern Allen. Is Fern here? Okay, that's it.
All right, this is I'm hearing that people want to take the next week to ask some follow-up questions, so I won't even consider an amendment here. This is a first reading of a non-emergency ordinance. It moves to second reading. And I want to apologize to my friends at Sports Oregon. I have to run off to do a press conference, but you have my support, and Commissioner Rubio will be with me, but these gentlemen will take care of you, and they'll ask very, very tough questions. And thanks, Dan. Sure. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, Keelan, please call the next item. You already did?
No.
All right, go ahead.
Item 955, accept the FY 2022-23 Sport Oregon Annual Report on National and International Sports Marketing Activities and Event Recruiting Services.
Good morning, gentlemen. The floor is yours. Great to see you.
Good morning. Goodbye, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to present this overview of the Sport Oregon activities for the period July 22 through June 30, 23. While my staff and I have been in ongoing discussions on numerous activities with you and your staffs, just remember that this presentation is about that period only. We're really excited about this report. We're really looking forward to next year's report. We've got a lot of great things in the hopper. Also want to give a call out to Carl Lyle, we work with in the Spectator Facilities and Development Office, who oversights our agreement with you guys, as well as Lauren Brody. Next slide, please. The past fiscal year has leveraged the momentum and successes that we built and achieved over the past, or the previous 2 to 3 years from this period. It's been a remarkable success at multiple levels. It's important for me to acknowledge that Sport Oregon's success is really predicated on the relationships with a host of local, regional, and statewide organizations and associations, as you see here. Next slide, please. Also important to call out is the investment of Travel Portland and the city-approved TID assessment, which has been a key factor in our success over these past 2 years. The additional economic recovery surcharge approved in March of 21 has been a game changer for us and our mission, and we hope to see that extended upon in its next review. You can see here a few of the biggest areas of impact within our organization that the TID investment has provided us and empowered us to win for Portland. Also, I think it's important to call out the relationship with Travel Portland, with Jeff Miller, Megan Conway, James Jesse. Megan and James are here in the chambers right now. But the synergy and the alignment that we have with Travel Portland is critical as well to that success. Our teams work on a daily basis together to win. Next slide, please. Our commitment to DEI and the Portland community has never been stronger. From our community board seats that we provide to local nonprofit and community leaders and our work with partners in diversity, these Portland social values are a component of our efforts every day. And I'll talk more in specifics, around specifics to that later in the presentation, but it's front and center with us as we work. Next slide, please. As you all are well aware, we talked about it a lot the last 18 months, but our biggest accomplishment of this past fiscal year was becoming the host city for the 2030 NCAA Women's Final Four, which will bring a slew of cascading benefits that are already catapulting Portland as a sports destination city within the sports event community. The economic and social impact of that event in our future and what will happen between now and then are truly profound. Also like to call out that the NCAA basketball committee has been in town since Monday as we work towards the regional championships that we're hosting in March, and also some preliminary meetings already 7 years out for the Final Four. Next slide, please. The next several slides will highlight the bids we made to bring events to Portland in future years, as well as events that were held during this period. Again, I'd like to emphasize the relationships with Travel Portland and the Prosper Portland's Events and Film Office, which is directed by Burke Nelson, who is also an essential partner in our success. Next slide. These were some of the key sporting events that we pursued in the past fiscal year. A key factor in these bids is the opportunity for multi-year commitments or repeat business. This is a point of focus in our strategies as we pursue opportunities. We like things that have an opportunity to be repeatable or be annual. That's not always the case for a lot of opportunities, but we put a special emphasis on that. Next slide, please. This, I think it's important to note. I don't like spending a lot of time here, but the negative of Portland in the national media did have an effect on us this year. This particular event, we won over USJ Gymnastics and the regional gymnastics groups, but when it went to their national board of directors, the negative narrative on Portland, they were unilaterally against the recommendation of staff to come here. That was frustrating. We always try to overcome that. We like to bring the decision makers into the city and host them and show them why Portland would be a great city to hold your event in. But that it does exist out there. We're very, again, the alignment with Travel Portland. We have the talking points that we have. Our team speaks the same language as Travel Portland on this. So most of the time we're able to overcome the objections or the hesitancy. This was a case where we didn't. Next slide, please. These next 3 slides are going to highlight some of the events that were held, along with the economic impacts of the event when that data is available. I will call out that inaugural Juneteenth rodeo was a highlight for me. I think some of you were there. It was a tremendous event. It's exciting to see that that's going to become an annual event as well. Next slide, please. We're particularly proud that the National Veterans Wheelchair Games and the Gay Volleyball and Basketball National Championships were held in the City of Roses during this period. Next slide. I cannot emphasize enough how Portland International Raceway, or PIR as many of us know it, has emerged as a nationally recognized world-class motorsports facility. First with the return of IndyCar in 2018, and then NASCAR in 2022, and Formula E's arrival in this past year in 23. PIR has been seen by racing fans on national broadcast on NBC, ESPN, Fox, CBS network, as well as global audiences via the international broadcast. The great component in there are the keys for Portland is all the beauty shots, the in and out bumpers, the narrative from the broadcast teams about the city of Portland. That's been of huge value for us. PR is delivering significant regional, national, and international visitors and significant economic impacts to our city. Next slide. These next 3 slides acknowledge the organizations that are significant partners and contributors to Sport Oregon's efforts to make Portland a premier sports destination. Again, Travel Portland and the Portland hotel community continue to partner with us in driving the sports-related economic successes that Portland has experienced this past fiscal. Sports continues to be a consistent driver of business and room nights in the city, and that partnership is in constant motion, looking for the next opportunity. Next slide. Portland Events and Film Offices is developing into a formidable ally, partner, and resource at Sport Oregon as we pursue together a host of sporting event opportunities. The establishment of this office by you is a positive and has greatly resulted in greater collaboration between the various bureaus that we need as we assess the ability of Portland to host a variety of events. And most of these require significant collaboration and coordination. So we're starting to see the efficiencies gained and by this office and its creation, and really look forward to how it's going to impact the future. And we encourage you to continue supporting this office and investing in it because it's showing results. Next slide, please. While not a City of Portland facility, but a Metro facility, we really see the potential for Expo as it transitions to a sports-focused facility. The potential can't be overstated. The void that Expo will fill as a multi-sports complex for regional, national, and even international events in the Pacific Northwest will make Portland the epicenter of the regional sports tourism economy. Also, the benefits at the community level with its location in North Portland and its great access to areas and communities of need throughout North and Northeast Portland we see is going to have tremendous community benefit for especially young people in our community. Our team and I meet regularly with the Expo development staff and Metro leadership and continue to build on the momentum that's been achieved to date around this initiative. It's also important to mention the affirmation of the historical, cultural, and social significance of the site, and we maintain that through all our conversations in the process. Next slide. Over the past few years, Sport Oregon has emerged as a critical convener that brings individuals and organizations together for conversations and outcomes that will deliver wins for our city, our region, and our state. This past fiscal year, we have assembled a host of conversations around attempts to attract Major League Baseball, WNBA, as well as many other key projects that will help stimulate our local and regional economy today, but well into the future. Next slide. As mentioned earlier, our commitment to the community and diversity has never been stronger. The Sport Oregon Foundation established the She Flies initiative as its flagship initiative. We have great support from our board members and corporate entities to empower young girls and women, particularly in underserved and economically challenged communities. We issued 23 grants this past year to local community nonprofit organizations and have also held numerous events that elevate the core values of the initiative. Next slide. One example, our She Flies Festival held in May at Overlook Park was free and had a significant and great community turnout. Over 25 community partners, nonprofits were highlighted there and were able to engage with community members and promoting their organizations. We also had the MLK Dream Run, held a live podcast, and Senator Wyden, who's been a great supporter of this initiative alongside of you, was made opening remarks at the event. Next slide. Here are some of the other She Flies events that took place over the past fiscal year. And next slide, please. As mentioned earlier, the grant program continues to grow. These are some of the organizations that were recipients of the Sport Oregon Foundation grants. All these recipients have initiatives that are culturally competent for the communities they serve and are aligned with one of the 3 She Flies pillars, which are keeping girls in the game, empowering women in coaching, and promoting fitness for life. Next slide. Commissioners, on behalf of our board of directors, which numbers over 100 community leaders, our membership and our staff, thank you for your ongoing support. It is critical to our success and does not go unnoticed or taken for granted. Each day we come to work with one primary goal, and that is to do all that we can to enhance the economic, the social vitality, and the quality of life in our city through sports, while at the same time building the civic pride that is generated via sports and events in our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jim, and it's good to see you as well, Nathan.
Thank you.
I will open this up for questions, and I want to mention that Carlisle's here, and if we have questions about the contract, you'll be able to come up to the table and answer the questions. Thank you, Carl. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Jim, Nathan, thanks so much for being here. Great report. As we look forward to the next year, maybe kind of highlight what you think are the best opportunities for support from the city, investment from the city that have real amplifying effects.
Yes, I think obviously that you guys have conversations that are outside of our realm, but with the future of the Rose Quarter, I think the biggest success factors are, as we enter another major NCAA bid cycle, that is a critical part of the conversation as we look forward, not just with the Moda Center, but the VMC and the status and that. The continuing conversations going around that same district, which Lloyd District with the Convention Center, that is another significant piece to the story, the proximity of those two facilities just being blocks apart, with the potential of the AVT, Albina Vision Trust, and what they're doing, and also all the conversations going around Lloyd Center. That district could really evolve into something pretty spectacular for our community at every level. The other area is, we talked a lot about the events office, but the biggest challenge to us to be able to jump into opportunities, and these things move fast, is our ability to navigate across the bureaus to make things happen. Obviously, there's some challenges downtown with surface rail that makes certain events difficult. But I'll use as an example, we have an opportunity to bring the USA Triathlon Championships, which would be 7,500 competitors from around the country, with another double that number with their family and support that come. They would be here for 3 to 5 years, or 3 to 5 days in downtown Portland in the summer, where we have a huge need, especially with the hotel community. How we're able to work with the bureaus to get a little outside the box and figure out how we can win this for the community would be a significant point of emphasis for us. So, and that counts for all the event producers in downtown. I know that you guys have continued to make events and sports part of the return of downtown Portland to its former vibrant self. But the biggest obstacle is working through, the bureaus and to try to get alignment and understanding that it exists up here, but sometimes we get clogged down there. Understandable, but I think these events are, as you guys have acknowledged over and over again, very important to the bounce back for downtown Portland.
Commissioner,
did I answer that?
I think so. Nathan?
Just to add one more thing, Nathan Naiman with Sport Oregon. One of the things that we were able to identify through a poll that was taken or surveys that were taken, I think it was 48% of people said that they will continue to come downtown based upon sports and live entertainment. So we believe that in working in collaboration, certainly with the Events and Film Office, that is achievable. To boost that up, to really embrace that number and bring people downtown, which in some instances, in addition to what Jim just pointed out, might look like some investment in infrastructure in the future. Knowing that there are challenges with budgets and certainly with the transition in form of government, keeping that on the table as infrastructure development so that it's plug and play instead of going for permits over and over again for whatever we end up doing is something worth considering.
Yeah, to that point, the event producers are under the same budget or pressures that you are with, escalation of costs. And it's not abnormal, but we build the same infrastructure and then tear it down and then build it again a week later. And what could be better for the community? What could make it to be able to jump into opportunities? The risk that event promoters take is significant. The community benefits when they're successful are great. So that infrastructure, especially around Waterfront Park, it's a little bit out of our circle, but very connected because a lot of the run and bike opportunities connect to that, start and end there. That would be something we need to take a close look at and really lean into, because if we can make it easier, more economical, we can also increase frequency and impacts.
Great. Before we go any further, do we have any testimony?
No one signed up.
No one signed up? Okay, carry on. Do another question?
Yeah, kind of building off of that, I mean, really two buckets. When we think about youth sports and a potential hub, we've certainly, in conversations, we've talked about Delta Park, Expo Center. Obviously, Delta Park's under City Parks, Expo Center, a little bit different ownership arrangement. But what's your kind of current vision on that? I mean, you alluded to it a little bit, but I was just, kind of curious what the thinking of the moment is there.
Well, for being the epicenter of the global sports product market, we have a great park system, but inside the park system, the quality of our fields and courts, we've seen what Nike's refurbishment of basketball courts and so forth, but if you took the playing fields, and we call them diamond fields and rectangle fields, we're so far behind communities everywhere in the country. Our field infrastructure is anywhere from 60 to 80 years old, and some of the backstops are that old, some of those things. The fields are only usable maybe 4 or 5 months of the year because of weather. How do we, if they're natural surfaces, we can reinvest and revitalize those, and also think strategically how they can benefit our ability to draw regional events here. Delta Park is a key opportunity. I see Dylan sitting back here. We've had conversations with Park Bureau around that. And those are things we need to start leaning into, especially as the Expo Center and PIR really emerge. We have an opportunity for a pretty impactful sports triangle for our community out there. We have a lot of thinking around it. I could go on and on, I won't, but that is critical to our ongoing conversations with the Park Bureau and other partners.
Well, and certainly our assets there are not at the level of even some of our suburban competition, and that there's a lot of history there. And I want to be crystal clear what I'm talking about for kind of elite youth programming, not necessarily for recreational engagement, but that would attract visitors, attract teams from elsewhere. We face challenges there even against suburban competitions, but we're also a city, right? So when we're talking about a lot of the destination tournaments nationwide, if you're talking soccer or lacrosse, they're often played in the suburbs anyways. So it's a tough hump to get over no matter what for a city. I guess my last question here, though, relates to this and maybe go a little more broadly is, where are you seeing public and private partnership models nationwide that might be, applicable here? Parks is an interesting set of assets, but just in general, where could we be creative in finding the capital to get to that level of facilities for those type of programs?
To that point, number one, the city and the Park Bureau's efforts in the last state legislative session to be able to create a park district that has to conform to the state laws. I won't get into that. I thought that was great thinking. Unfortunately, it didn't pass, but it should stay on the front burner. You're mentioning public-private. That is where we're seeing the most success nationally and getting dynamic facilities that serve. You mentioned elite, and yes, elite competition or athlete at the youth level drives heads and beds in sports travel, but the key thing is it's the in-between that it drives for total community access, especially to underserved youth communities that all of a sudden get to play, compete, and participate on a weekly basis on in facilities that are equal to much more affluent communities that may surround us. And what that does from a mental health standpoint, an equity standpoint, and all that, I think is really important. So while there may be an elite benefit, I think the community benefit in between. As you look at Delta Park, we like to call them massified sports facilities. So like in the case of Delta Park, if that has the ability to be 14 soccer fields and be a phenomenal local asset first, but a regional and national asset for us to leverage into. Then how do we create a corresponding diamond field complex? Those would deliver week in, week out, if built the right way, and are usable 10 to 12 months of the year. But I think equity is a key factor in these things. And so when the private partnerships that are successful that we see, and we see a lot of them out there, that's a key component.
Yeah, and maybe for those listening at home, and then I'll hand it over to my colleagues. I mean, the trade-off on public facilities and the argument around sort of the equity obligations as a community and the need for capital to bring fields up to a certain standard that can attract visitors. This is an ongoing tension in sports and many other facilities. They can be mutually beneficial. You build a high-quality field, to your point, that does become accessible outside of the tournaments for kind of this, the sports tourism element. That becomes accessible to the community the rest of the year. That's a net benefit. But we have sometimes struggled. This is true in both parks. It's true at Portland PPS, who owns a lot of key assets in the city for sports, that sometimes in the name of equity, we've shied away from welcoming public-private partnerships. And I think sometimes we haven't expanded the pie that could have benefited everyone because of some of that philosophy.
Well, I think it also helps the city, the ongoing and ever, it happens over and over again is the deferred maintenance, whether it's the Grant Bowl or whatever. If you're in these public-private deals, those become non-issues because that investor continues to maintain the quality of those fields, and it doesn't fall on the city.
Thank you. Commissioner, as an example, if you take a look at PIR and the revenue that it's been generating to the city for its usage and the investment that was made from the private sector to bring it up to a higher level is a perfect example of how those types of public-private partnerships where land or facility is elevated to a certain level by private investment, while the city ends up benefiting by the revenue that'll be generated by the use of that venue, is something to pay closer attention to.
Yes, Mr. Maps.
Jim, Nathan, number one, I want to start out by thanking you for being here today. I really appreciate the work that Sports Oregon does. And I don't think I have so much a question, but I do have a hypothesis that I want to share, especially with my colleagues on council. It is no secret that tourism, especially organized tourism, like conventions, have kind of fallen off the cliff here in the Portland metro area. If you go back to the communications portion of this meeting, we heard someone from the tourism industry who explained her experience of that and, its livability issues and reputational issues and whatnot. As a person who spends a lot of time and cares a lot about that particular industry, from what I see, it's apparent that especially our convention business, kind of fell off a cliff, and we're not bouncing back the way we'd like to. And I think we're in that's kind of our new normal, or we're into our next phase. It'll take years to build that back up again. However, one of the bright spots in our tourism and hospitality space seems to me is the sports sector. We seem to be relatively successful in attracting sporting events here and putting heads in beds. I think that's a really encouraging sign. The world, as we went into the pandemic, the world changed, and we're not going back to the world that we had in 2019 or whatnot. As we kind of march into the 21st century, I think it makes sense to really lean into our strengths, and the sporting sector certainly appears to be a strength at this moment. And as we figure out how to allocate our resources and invest our mental work in making good policy, it seems like sports and the sporting industry is a really wise place for us to invest our energies and our resources. Thank you.
Okay, no question. I have a quick question. Who are you working with directly at Metro?
At
on
Metro?
Expo Center?
Marisa, the COO.
Okay.
And
It's
then
at that level?
Yeah, Paul Slyman and Steve Falstick, who runs the Metro facilities, GM of Metro facilities. So we have, Marisa and I convene a table every 2 weeks and also chair one of the committees. And then Sport Oregon sits on 2 other committees around this whole conversation. So.
And we have weekly meetings as well.
Okay, and is there a collaboration with parks, because Delta Park's not far away, and we have an opportunity with Columbia Park as well?
Well, I think I think a lot of people here in our community, but also what's very interesting is we get the outside experts. They come and immediately connect the dots there, that between Expo, between Delta, and then PIR, and then you can throw in Heron Lakes. But proximity to airport, I-5, hotel community that is well positioned to serve the audiences that come there, retail, accessibility, basically 10 minutes from downtown if there's no traffic. But there just has so many things going for it that everybody says, why aren't we kind of expanding this conversation to Delta and PR? Because what's good for one is going to benefit the other.
Yeah, well said. Wearing my 4th generation Oregonian hat, I notice your name is Sport Oregon. We obviously had a very Portland-centric conversation. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing around the great state, or is your scope mostly the Portland metropolitan area?
Our name, as you recall, was originally the Portland Sports Authority when it was founded 32 years ago, and then it evolved to the Portland Oregon Sports Authority, then the Oregon Sports Authority, and now Sport Oregon. I've been just completing my 6th year in this position. Our board and our team, it's very important that we're Sport Portland to win here first, to have credibility and legitimacy around the state. We're now, we think we've established a good foothold. We still got a lot of rungs on the ladder to climb to get to where we all want to be, but we're starting now to develop strategies and think broader about living into our name, Sport Oregon. We're working with, we've got this great relationship with Travel Portland that has demonstrated, success, and now in conversations with another one of our supporters at Travel Oregon, but also we have more corporations that are based outside of Portland, the Lithias, the Dutch Bros, the Pape groups, Tillamook Cheese. They all want to engage us to start to do some work around the state. We do work with the various regional visitor bureaus, whether it's Travel Medford, Travel Lane County, Visit Bend, et cetera. When we're present at the 5 to 6 national marketplaces, where we used to have, before Travel Portland's investment, the budget to go to 1 of the 5, now we're able to be at all 5. And the regional DMOs, they only have budget probably to be 1, maybe 2. So we're very cognizant of grabbing opportunities that fit those markets and don't fit here, and pushing them their way and assisting them, and kind of, floating their, a rising tide floats everybody's boat. Right. So Medford's success is our success as well, and vice versa.
I assumed you'd have an answer I'd appreciate. And now a final one before we go on to approve this. Explain the term critical convener. I think I like it, but that's the term you used. Please explain.
We kind of laugh that we're Switzerland. We're, as far as in the corporate community, you see all the sports brands, Nike, Adidas, Columbia Sportswear, On Running, they all are on the sandbox together around our mission, which it's kind of hard to find that in another organization like that. The same goes around, the professional services corporations in our community. We have 5 or 6 banks involved. We got more in the wings, the accounting firms, you name it, law firms. So everybody's unified around our mission and how we make it stronger, our community stronger through it. And so that critical convener role, we're also seen as a neutral party, a trusted party. And so whether it's, convening meetings with you all or other organizations in the city or the state, oftentimes we're the starting point, and then we'll stay in that conversation as long as we're needed or asked. But if it's time to step aside, we'll step aside if we got things seated and started.
Well, being that politically agnostic takes a lot of political skills. So thank you, Jim.
Just
and,
to, if I may add, Commissioner, one of the key things that I've learned in my years of working in policy is good data makes good policy. So we are collecting some formidable data around the country and in the region on the impact that sports have, particularly in youth, besides the economic development side, on mental health, on drug abuse, and other assets that we think, again, make sports more of an all-encompassing issue for communities. And we're really drilling down on that and moving forward, on a statewide basis on that.
Appreciate it. Colleagues, there's no more questions. This is a report. Can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
I heard Commissioner Maps move and Gonzalez second. Keelan, please call the roll to accept the report.
Thank you.
Maps?
I'd like to start out by thanking Jim and Nathan and Sports Oregon for this report. Obviously, there's a lot of encouraging news in this document, most notably securing the women's NCAA Final Four tournament for 2030. Thank you so much. That is an amazing achievement. This report also reminds us that sports is a big part of our region's economy. In fact, sports are a $29 billion a year business here in Oregon, and here in the Portland metro area, about 9% of jobs are connected to the sports economy in some way. It's also worth noting, as I highlighted during our questions and answer sessions, that while some parts of Portland's economy struggles, sports-related tourism is relatively robust. We have lots of people and institutions to thank for that, but Sports Oregon is certainly our champion in this space. I think it's also important for us to recognize that this report contains some warnings to, frankly, this council. We saw that our reputational issues are holding back economic growth, even in the sports sector, which is a reminder that Portland will not be able to compete and thrive again until this council gets a handle on the public safety and livability issues that plague too many corners of our city. Colleagues, I will just note, it is apparent from this report that Sports Oregon is doing their work to help Portland thrive, and I think we as a council need to come together and support their good work by making sure that Portland is cleaner, safer, and saner. And those are just some of the few reasons why I am glad to vote to accept the report before us today. Thank you.
Rubio, Gonzalez.
Jim, Nate, I just want to thank you again for the report. Thank you, Carl, for your work on this area. Obviously, a substantial, important part of our economy. Also, though, that it's worth emphasizing, it's a really important part of our culture and our identity and what connects us. And I have been involved in particularly youth sports my entire adult life, and it is one of the glues of our community, is what helps us connect with each other. So I agree with Commissioner Maps. There are some warnings in this report that we have to protect one of our strengths. It's related to the issues we struggle with every day in the city that we're looking to turn around. At the end of the day, we've got to fix the fundamentals, and I think the reputation follows therefrom. And so it's a reminder on how important that is. I also think there are some long-term trends as a city that predate our most recent challenges and how we approach deals. I think we have to continue to be creative and adjust as we think about how do we attract the right kind of capital that can lead to greater amplification in the sports space. Apply some of the same logic to the music space as well. But thoroughly appreciate the presentation. I vote aye. Thank you.
Wheeler, Ryan.
Yes, great to see you both, Jim and Nathan and Carl. It's great to have you here, and we'll have to have further conversations about how we can help with one of the biggest things you called out, which is the coordination within the city when it comes to permits and other items. And I know that I became involved in that when e-formula series came. Sometimes it takes some nudging. I want to just say it's so great to see you everywhere, both of you. You're all over the city. I think there's more than one of you. And every time I go to an event, and I do a lot of sports ball events, it seems like you're there. So thank you, and also to your families for allowing you to have a 24/7 job. It is a big economic driver. I'd say the two highlights that I had this past year that directly connected to your leadership was 8 Seconds Rodeo, the Juneteenth Rodeo at Expo Center. Bravo, that was a wild success. So successful that it's moving to the Veterans Memorial Coliseum, correct, next year. And we're working on that. And also the other big event was the Formula E. And I've never been to any event in terms of car racing before. And I just found it to be, well, it was exciting because one, it was so quiet. And also the international flights probably were the highest. We probably had more visitors from other countries. Our passport, looking at passports at the airport was probably the highest that weekend leading up to it than I've ever seen in Portland in a long time. So thank you for pulling that off. That was a big deal. Like when they read off all the cities that they were stopping in, it was like, it was fascinating. It was like, New York, maybe was one of them, Buenos Aires, London, you name a really big top 10 city. And no offense, Portland, but we're not that, but there you got us into that league. So it was wonderful to be a part of the big leagues. I'd like our city to be more of a major league city, and I mean that in every facet, from schools to parks to sports destination. I also keep talking about the night and evening economy. That's what's gonna bring back our city. And between arts and sports, that's what does it. So thank you for being a great partner. You have a great team. I can't believe you manage 100 board members. I know how challenging it is to have a large board, and I know how you communicate with people, and you do include them and bring them along. So thank you for your convening, your critical convening, your Switzerland role. We need you. We appreciate you. I vote aye. And that concludes our report. And the report passes. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Stay present to win.
Thank you.
Okay, Keelan, please call the next item.
Item 960, accept bid of $2,628,323 from West Tech Construction Incorporated for the first phase of construction of Northeast 46th Avenue and Bryant Street LID project.
Welcome.
Good morning,
Okay, we have
Commissioners.
Biko Taylor here, Chief Procurement Officer. Take it away.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, my name is Biko Taylor. I am the Chief Procurement Officer. I am accompanied by Andrew Abbey. Would you like to, for the record?
Yeah, Andrew Abbey, Local Improvement District Administrator.
On January 16th, 2019, City Council approved Ordinance 189347. The engineering estimate at that time was $3.5 million, and the confidence level was low. Procurement Services issued the invitation to bid on August 31st, 2023. The bid was due on October 12th, 2023. In total, we received 9 bids. For the record, this was a low bid project. West Tech Construction was the low bidder and the recommended awardee. The total bid was $2,628,323, which was 25% below the engineering estimate. The city's standard 20% aspirational goal did apply. And here's a breakdown of the utilization plan West Tech submitted. They will perform 36.7% of the project. 11.7% will be performed by certified COBIC subcontractors. and 51.6% will be performed by 9 certified subcontractors. Before my colleague gives a report, I would like to go on a record to talk about the 11.7% certified COVID performance number here, which falls substantially below our aspirational goal. So on behalf of West Tech, I did review their outreach plan, and it's common practice for our partners like West Tech to pull what we call a really substantial representation of minority MSB, ESB contractors from our COVID database. And based on the records provided to me by West Tech, they did pull over 231 qualified COVID certified contractors. The challenge was during the outreach plan, they received challenging feedback from minority contractors in some of the areas that we targeted here for the work. Some no bid, some did not have the capacity, some did not respond. So I do have the outreach plan. I can verify that substantial efforts were made to bring on minority partners and co-bid firms. It's one of those times where it just didn't happen for us. So I just want to go on record to explain why that percentage was substantially lower. And if any of your offices want to have access to the outreach plan, I'll be happy to provide that information.
Director Taylor, on that note, let me just ask a question. What's the process look like? So thank you for that information.
Yep.
That was a question I had,
Okay.
but I want to know what that outreach is like. So you looked and you noticed that they sent out emails, I assume. Is there dialogue? Do we listen to why they're not applying? What are the barriers?
There's dialogue. The process is they reach out. In many cases, they have meetings, they call. And what we've experienced is that some of our really talented and well-regarded minority women-owned businesses and co-bid businesses can be inundated at times in the particular areas that we're targeting for the projects. And it's been a point of contention for some of them, right? If we're coming at them dozens of times for the same projects and they're saying no, sometimes that can be a challenge. So the process is not just an email, right? Yeah. In many cases, partners like West Tech, they do have what you would call informal or formal sessions, info sessions, et cetera, inviting some of these businesses in, and sometimes we're successful and sometimes we're not.
Thank you for that answer.
Andrew, Abby, I just wanted to provide a little bit of context for the project itself. You'll recall that Council recently approved an amendment to the LID. We added some stormwater improvements. Most of that work is actually not part of this contract because we split up the LID into 2 phases of construction. This first phase includes a couple of very important items of work. One of which is the traffic signal at Northeast 42nd and Columbia and Northeast Columbia Boulevard is the high crash corridor. I spoke yesterday with a constituent by the name of Carla Martinez Gallardo, and she works in this area. She has a living wage job north of Columbia Boulevard. She gets off the bus every day, she takes transit to work, and she runs across 5 lanes of traffic on a non-signalized intersection to try to get to work. And obviously that's not a safe route of travel for her. So we are very anxious to have Council award this contract so that we can get that new traffic signal installed. I would also add that we have seen some pretty scary bid results the last few years on traffic signals, so we were extremely pleased that this bid came in almost $1 million below the engineer's estimate, and ultimately the beneficiaries of that low bid are the property owners, particularly the small businesses that are paying into this LID. And then lastly, I would also just like to remind Council that we have a very strong partnership with TriMet on this particular project. They are providing the largest percentage of funding for this particular LID. And you have on file a nice letter of support from Mark Dorn encouraging Council to award the contract. Among other things, this contract provides for the installation of backflow devices and water meters for the new Columbia bus base. And what we were trying to avoid is the ridiculous situation where TriMet installed those, then TriMet made the right-of-way dedications, and then they had to tear them all out and move them 5 or 10 feet back. I forget how much the right-of-way dedication was. So this has been a well-orchestrated project between the Water Bureau, Transportation, and TriMet. So I would encourage council to award the contract.
Great, thank you. Keelan, is there any public testimony on this item?
No one signed up.
Okay, so thank you, colleagues. Any more questions? If not, this is a report. Can I get a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Mapps moves and Commissioner Gonzalez seconds the report. Keelan, please call the roll.
Mapps.
I want to thank Director Taylor and Andrew for their presentation today and their work on this project. I know this project well. It's one I'm really excited about. I also want to note I really appreciate Director Taylor's efforts and transparency around COVID issues here. I've appreciated the dialogue that your office and my office have had around that. For these reasons and more, I vote aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye. Okay, this passes. Next item, Keelan.
Item 961, amend contract with Stantec Consulting Services Incorporated to extend term, increase compensation by up to $7,598,099, and make other changes for the Columbia Boulevard Wastewater Treatment Plant Secondary Treatment Expansion Program.
Okay, Keelan, do we have a presentation on this?
Commissioner Ryan, this one comes from my shop.
Okay.
Colleagues, this ordinance comes to us from the Bureau of Environmental Services. This ordinance adds a little less than $7.6 million to an existing contract BES has with Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. BES currently contracts with Stantec Consulting for professional construction management and inspection services to support building new secondary clarifiers at the city's Columbia Boulevard Wastewater Treatment Plant. That project is driven largely by regulatory mandates, but will ultimately significantly increase the plant's operational capacity and resiliency, especially during large storms, where the volume of water treated at the plant can increase sixfold compared to dry days. BES has entered the final stages of construction on our new secondary clarifiers. And as we conclude this project, additional construction management and inspection services are needed to support this work, which is why this ordinance is before us today. Here to tell us more about this project, we have Muriel Gesa-Teufel, a division manager with Environmental Services Project Management Office. Welcome, Muriel.
Welcome. Thank you for having me this morning. Sounds like members of council are having the North Portland focused presentation or session this morning. So I will keep you in North Portland with this presentation. So for the record, I am Muriel Gesa-Teufel, engineering manager in the project management office. Next slide, please. So the ordinance is related to requesting an authorization to increase the contract amount by about 7.6 million as it relates to supporting construction activities at the Columbia Boulevard Treatment Plant. On the slide, you see a photo from last month. So construction is pretty heavy right now. And next slide, please. Before we dive in too deep, we like to bring back the fact that the treatment plant, every Portland resident, business, and visitor do rely on the treatment plant every single day, every hour of every year, rain or shine. And the work that we do over there is critical to these assets. Next slide, please. So the treatment plant, to the right, you see a picture of the original treatment plant that was built in 1952. 1972 was the last major expansion of the treatment plant to add that first phase of secondary treatment. In 2011, we entered into a mutual agreement and order with Oregon Department of Environmental Quality to expand, so further expand secondary treatment. And it was largely driven by the fact that at that point, Portland had completed the CSO program, which brought a lot of stormwater to the treatment plant, which changed the dynamics and what we needed over there. Next slide, please. So the agreement had a number of conditions, and the last, we met all of them, all the milestones and the deadlines. And the last one is the one we're working on right now, which is to complete the secondary clarifiers by December 31st, 2024. Next slide. And another one. And this is why we require your action to help us continue services associated with construction. So council's history on this particular contract dates back from June 2018. That's when we authorized the first contract with Stantec. At that point, we didn't have an engineer of record on board. We hadn't gone through RFPs and selection, and therefore we also didn't have a design completed. So the contract was started at that point with a lot of assumptions. In August 2022, a little more than a year ago, we came to council for a guaranteed maximum price agreement for the full construction and the full extent of the secondary treatment expansion program. And that really set the schedule and the construction activities for the entire project. Next slide, please. So at that point, it allowed us to enter into negotiations with Stantec now that we knew what the final scope and schedule activities would be. Next slide, please. A key part of Stantec's contract, they provide program support, so program controls, but a big part of their contract is construction management and inspection services. And what that means is that they support the construction activities from the contractors by providing quality assurance, providing eyes in the field on the activities, helping the contractors and administering the construction contract. On the right, you see the construction activities. They span a wide area of the plant, above grade and below grade. And as a result, now that we know exactly what the scope is, really we could define that contract amendment. A big part of the assumptions when we entered into the contract in 2018, first of all, we didn't have construction activities, but we also thought we were a little optimistic, and we thought that BES could staff and resource this project, not totally appreciating how this was a bit of an outlier project for us. And therefore, now we're relying entirely on Stantec for construction management and inspection services. Next slide, please. So based on the guaranteed maximum price, schedule, and activities, we finalized the amendment with CM and inspection services averaging about 4% of the total construction, which is quite competitive. We also negotiated $2 million in reductions in the other tasks for this project, allowing for the $7.6 million amendment. A big part or big benefit of these large projects is that it gives us time to work with our co-bid firms, our certified firms, both on professional services and on the construction side. This amendment is on professional services, and the current contract has a 25% participation. And with this authorization, we would increase it co-bid participation to 47%. And that really speaks to our ability and the ability of the prime consultant to mentor and support their firms so they can grow into their role through the project.
That's a first reading. Yeah.
And so finally, one last point. So it's 47% of a $34 million contract, so which is significant. Next slide, please. So the next steps for the project would be December 2024, a little more than a year from now, the clarifiers would be complete, which would meet the regulatory milestone. In June 2026, everything else related to construction would be complete and the team would be demobilized and out of the site. We also owe the council or the city administrator a report because this project is being delivered through alternative delivery and not low bid. So you will see us again. And that concludes the presentation.
Is that it, Commissioner Maps?
Yes, we could see if we have public testimony, which I don't think we do.
I was going to do that. This is a first reading, so do we have any public testimony?
We do have 2 people signed up.
Great.
First up is Nancy Lane. Is Nancy here?
Hi, Nancy. You have 3 minutes. Are you there?
I don't think Nancy's here. Next up, we have Jared Essig.
Welcome to the table. You've been here before. You know the routine, 3 minutes. Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Ryan, commissioners, and citizens of Portland. The Ms. Nancy Lane, who was about to speak before me but didn't show up, spoke in a communication at the beginning of this session about livability, public safety, and sanitation concerns in Portland that are troubling her hotels and travel agents that she represents. And I know that's a very complicated issue on the minds of all of you now. And we've just awarded $7 million, I think, to someone for wastewater treatment, which is, as the presenter mentioned, is something that we all take advantage of on a daily basis. So wastewater treatment is something very important to us all, even though most of us have probably never visited a plant, and most of us never will. But I want to point out to you that in the plaza, just right across from the City Hall, in the bushes in the Amphitheater Park, that's where most of the Portland community uses the bathroom on a regular basis, since the public bathrooms in your plaza are closed and have been for over a year. And there's really no excuse for that. You need to open the public bathrooms in the plaza. And until you do that, I want to inform people that there is a porta potty, temporary porta potty, 2 blocks south of here on Clay Street, just beyond Clay Street, where you can use a porta potty. And I discourage people from using the bushes over there across from City Hall to urinate and defecate, not only because it benefits the city council in their attempt to criminalize poverty and homelessness by making this problem as bad as possible and sabotaging any occupied protest that might occur, or sabotaging the attempts of houseless people to gain human dignity. Not only for that reason, but also because it sabotages your own dignity. So I encourage you to use the porta potty instead, or else come to City Hall and use the bathroom in here in City Hall, as long as the City Council is going to keep those bathrooms in the plaza closed. And to the City Council, I'll encourage you to spend $96,000 times 2, and take that out of this award that's being given to the wastewater treatment program. Just amend this motion. Take $192,000 out of that and assign $96,000 to 2 Portland Loos in the City Plaza. Just do that, and if you're not going to do that, you're in bad faith.
Thank you.
That
Any more
completes testimony.
Okay. Colleagues, this is the first reading. Any more questions?
If I may, Commissioner Ryan, I have a quick question for staff. I'm really proud of the fact that the co-bid participation rate on this particular item is frankly extraordinary. I believe 47%. Although I think it was touched on in the presentation, Muriel, could you take a moment to remind us how we managed to achieve this nearly 50% of these dollars actually going to businesses owned by women or people of color?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Maps. So on this particular contract, the prime consultant partnered with one certified firm. That's something they decided to do early on. It was it was a new approach for us. We're used to having multiple subcontractors on a team. And their approach was to really mentor and embed that firm and grow them into an area that they were not necessarily totally, but they hadn't practiced as much into it. And because this is a long-term project spanning over multiple years, they already could plan. They worked with them to really make sure that they would have the resources and they could staff into this area. So it was really a one-on-one approach of mentoring through the contract partnering in this case.
Thank you for that explanation. Colleagues and for folks watching at home, the success that we've had in this space contrasts with another project of mine that we just heard, the PBOT LID project, where we kind of struggled to achieve our goals in terms of COVID participation. I think on the LID project, one of the things that we heard was there just wasn't enough capacity in the contractor community to support. Here, I'll wait a second. There wasn't enough capacity in the minority contracting community to participate in helping build that infrastructure. I think it's informative that on this particular project, by virtue of having a master contractor who really leaned in on professional development, we were able to achieve 47% COVID participation. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. I just have one brief question. I thought you explained everything so well, Muriel. I just need to know, when we approve such an increase, what are the consequences? Yeah, I just want to know the consequences of that.
Muriel, is this paid for? To put it more blunt, more sharply.
So in this case, we had already planned for an amendment into our baseline budget, and by waiting, since we waited for the GMP, the price agreement with the contractor, the actual amendment is actually lower than what we had anticipated. So from a overall CIP perspective, it's lower than what we had budgeted for that particular project.
Okay, so it's not a burden on ratepayers going forward?
It's included in our CIP.
It already was included. Okay, great. Just wanted to make sure that was on the record. Thanks so much. This moves on to second reading next week. Okay. Colleagues, bear with me. There's one announcement I need to make. This just in. Before we end today's session, I will quickly reinstate what the mayor shared at the beginning of the meeting. Today, Portland City Council hosted its last meeting at City Hall for a while in preparation for voter-approved changes to the Portland's elections and form of government. Upgrades will begin this fall to make room for 12 councilors and increased expanded seating for people testifying. The goal is to have the council chambers ready by January 1st, 2025 as part of this voter-approved transition. So starting with the November 29th council meeting, members of council will participate virtually in council meetings and work sessions. Members of the public may choose to participate virtually or in person. The Lizzie Weeks Room, room 100 in the Portland building, will be available for community members to watch the meeting and provide public testimony. In January, that's this coming January 2024, council will begin meeting in an alternative site about a half-mile up the street in Portland State University's City's Development Services Building. That's at 1900 Southwest 4th, room 2500. So thank you for your attendance today. Just wanted to make sure you were apprised of the changes over the next couple of months. We are adjourned for this morning's sessions. We will re-adjourn in chambers at 2 p.m.
Before we gavel ourselves out, I'd like to take a moment to address the chamber issue. So I have my hand up.
I didn't see it. Go ahead, Commissioner Mouse.
Sure. Thank you. I appreciate Commissioner Ryan reminding us that this is the last time that this council will meet in these chambers. That's going to be a big change for the members of this council, and frankly, it is also a big change for the people of Portland. City government moved into this building in 1895. And in 1913, we adopted the form of government, the commission form of government that we all know today. So literally for 110 years, colleagues, 4 members of council and a mayor have been meeting in these chambers to struggle with the great issues of our ages, you know, that goes all the way back to the Spanish flu, World War I, the Great Depression, World War II, Vietnam, the AIDS epidemic, the Gulf Wars, the COVID pandemic. In these chambers, this is really where democracy has happened. Which for me makes this a very special place. I do think it's a significant moment in our city's history. Obviously, democracy in Portland will continue, and it will continue in this room. But our future will look very different from our present. And I do want to take a moment to say it's been a real pleasure to serve with you guys in this chamber, which I think of as being a secular but sacred place. And for all the staff people who work in this space with us, I want to thank them for their service too. It's been a real honor to do this work with you in these chambers. Thank you.
You're welcome. And again, we have an opportunity to meet in this chamber one last time this afternoon, and the meeting's adjourned until 2 o'clock.